Hey everyone, Nicole here with the Metaphysical Healing Institute in Palm Beach. I have John Fullbright here who is going to talk to us today about Puncture. We're going to be bringing this modality into the Institute the 23rd and 24th of this month by appointment only. So I wanted to give John an opportunity to jump on and tell you guys a little bit more about what he does, how it helps, and where it came from. John?
Thank you. So, people often ask me, how did I get involved in Puncture, which is also known as bee venom acupuncture. It has other names like Hoshindo, which is a Japanese style that was taught to the samurai lineage from China, from the Taoist priests. And basically what happened to me is I got hit by lightning in 2004, and that fried my nervous system and my immune system kind of along with it. As I healed from that, I then started suffering all kinds of new symptoms and neuropathies, and which led me to understand that I actually had chronic Lyme disease ever since I was a kid.
Wow.
And the Lyme disease also was kind of paired with which we commonly see mold poisoning. And so the two of those things were really ravishing my system. In 2014, I was completely disabled. I had no smell, no taste, no balance. I had no thermal regulation, no circadian rhythm. I had digestive issues, no ability to sleep. I had really painful cluster headaches, neuropathies all over my body, migratory pains. I basically was completely disabled and had no idea until I discovered that I had Lyme. And then later on, after I started recovering quite a bit with the bee venom acupuncture, the puncture, I realized I was also living in black mold, and that the bee venom acupuncture, working the meridian system, was really supporting me in detoxing and healing even while I lived in it, because
Wow.
the mold in my case was hidden in the ceiling. So I only discovered that 2 years ago, and have since even done better now that we've remediated all that. And so that's how I got started in it. And I'm one of the few people in the country that has used only bee venom to cure the Lyme disease, or I can't even really say cure. There's a lot of thoughts that once you have Lyme, you'll have it for life. And
Right.
essentially the bee venom therapy of this style was much more effective than any other modality that I've found out there. This system essentially utilizes all of the 14 major meridian system,
Okay.
and then also the 8 oceans underneath the 14 meridians, and otherwise known as the 8 auspicious meridians. And essentially, just by applying the venom based on symptoms that I was experiencing in different locations around the body, I was able to stimulate my nervous system and my immune system to heal again. And literally within the first treatment, I was able to regain my smell and taste and my circadian rhythm. It was a mind blower to have such a rapid repair of something that was so detrimental.
So, John, what makes it distinct using the bee venom? What are some of the advantages specifically of using that extraction versus, traditional Chinese acupuncture, where it's obviously just the needle working in the meridian points?
Well, exactly. And like in China, they talk about puncture, and in Korea as well. The reason they call it puncture is a bee is considered a little pharmacy. It's a power plant packed concentration in the venom. And what we've seen with it is that, unlike the needle and acupuncture therapy is also very good.
Mhm.
And, but because of the compounds, the bioactivity of the venom, it has a extremely strong anti-inflammatory, and it's also been shown to be very antiviral, antibacterial, and antifungal, which is a lot of the things that the bees deal with in the hive itself. And so as part of this practice, I'm also a beekeeper. So I raise my own bees primarily for the treatments. And by applying the venom to the acupoints, it's been proven in case studies to be 10 times stronger than stinging just randomly in different points in the body. The other thing that's a little different about it is it's a lot of apitherapy or bee venom therapy is using full stings of the bee in various places of the body. And in this modality, due to its accuracy with the points, less venom is needed. And so we actually pull the stinger of the bee and then add little tiny droplets throughout the body. But depending on the patient, we may use one bee for an entire treatment, or if somebody's quite sick with Lyme and we've worked up and progressed over a number of treatments, we may use up to 30 bees in a treatment. So it really depends on the severity of the person. And then again, being such a powerful medium with the bee venom, it is actually considered an antibiotic. It's been double-blind studied along with different antibiotics in chronic Lyme disease, and bee venom has been shown to hold its own throughout all those trials. And so it's a very powerful agent for clearing the system of stealth infections. In my case, I had Lyme disease and 5 other co-infections like Babesia, Borrelia burgdorferi, or Ehrlichia, that kind of thing. And all I did was bee venom consistently over the last 8 years now. And I actually felt like I was completely remiss from Lyme after about 3 years. But I've continued to keep it up just because, I had no memory and all that kind of thing. And by continuing, it's really improved all my functions and allowed me to live a normal life. In fact, I'm, as you see here, traveling all over the country to help people that are unable to travel.
Right.
And so this has really been a great burst of spirit and health. So,
what kind of experience can people expect as far as the actual sensation from the application of the bee venom? And are there any contraindications for this type of work?
for this type of work, the main contraindication is if somebody's on a lot of immune suppressors. That's the big thing, or if they're completely allergic, and if they know they're anaphylactic or very deadly allergic to venom, then it can be reduced by doing what's called low dose immunotherapy. Western doctors can give you small doses once a month for several years, and basically help you develop a resistance to any sort of allergic reaction with bee venom. I've actually had a close friend beekeeper that was deadly allergic after several different incidents. And the allergy specialist explained to me that by doing big doses and then too much time in between, he actually developed an allergy, and then has since reduced that allergy completely through low dose immunotherapy. What people can experience in a treatment is, of course, a little bit of itching, a little bit of burning at the site. That's really typical. What'll often happen as well, especially if they're long into chronic Lyme disease, we may see some swelling in, not just locally, but we may see some swelling in the lymph glands, because bee venom does kill and paralyze different stealth infections in the body. Then those things will be getting mopped up. It also stimulates helper T cells to get firing properly. And so then that allows those T cells to actually catch the Lyme spirochetes and absorb them. And then in the process of adding venom to a chronically ill person, what we'll see is that lymph swelling will begin usually a day or two after the treatment. And then what we do is we progress based on how well they are detoxing. Many of the chronic Lyme patients also seem to have mold issues. And so that, again, we try to work it slowly in the beginning, so that we don't overload the lymph system and the detox channels.
Gotcha. So if I'm hearing you correctly, there may be cases where you're saying an initial treatment, you're going to see some results, but depending on what the client is working with, multiple treatments may be necessary.
Multiple treatments may be necessary. Yeah, exactly. And, online, social media, there's several different types of protocols that typically will add bee venom to the spine, up along and not right on the spine, but along the muscles to the sides of the spine. And those are real basic protocols, and they have very specific reasons for that. For people to be stinging themselves, a lot of people I've treated have started online, and this is a little more customized to each person's ailments, and that's why I feel it's a lot more appropriate for somebody that's really been long-term in this. Is that a lot of other protocols don't use the venom along the brain, along the skull. They don't treat the feet, they don't treat the hands, and what we found is that by using the acupoints, it's so much more powerful. You can actually use quite a bit less venom and have a very strong result.
Sure.
Commonly what we'll see right away with people is a reduction in pain and neuropathy, a better sleep, maybe improved smell and taste, as in my case. We've also found it to be very, very assisting in the body for things like long haul COVID,
Yeah.
where people are having thick blood and just crippling fatigue. Using the bee venom along the points for insomnia are working incredibly well for that, and for the blood pooling and just getting their energy back.
Yeah, John, that was going to be my next question. As we talked a lot about Lyme, you touched on COVID and insomnia. What are some other conditions that people are dealing with that you have seen a lot of success with this modality?
Sure. Some of the biggest ones we've seen dramatic results are with different types: RA, rheumatoid arthritis, or arthritis in general. Insomnia is a big one that seems to be easily responsive to venom. The other ones that are big is, like I was saying about a lot of Lyme patients also have thick blood, as we see in COVID long haul, and the viscosity of the blood is readily changed. And that's why if a patient happens to be on blood thinners, then we just want to be careful to monitor that viscosity if we're doing it over time. Venom seems to normalize blood function in a big way, as well as stimulate hormone function. So we've had a lot of cases where people had really disturbed hormone function, maybe immobilized bowel, really poor sleep. And as we stimulate that, the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis seems to improve. The inflammation in the whole system goes down. Some other conditions that we see a lot of improvement are with diabetes, and it helps normalize blood sugar, can stimulate the pancreas to actually produce insulin again. We've also seen a great reduction in the pain from different neuropathies, whether they're explained or not, even in diabetes. We have found it to be very repairing in terms of thermal regulation and just general mood. We found it to be just exceptional.
Amazing, amazing. Well, John, if there's anything else you want to add to that before we close?
I think it's one of those things that being plant-based in nature and being something that has been around for over 10,000 years in Egypt, as well as in China, still very popular today in Russia and Korea. It's just something that is for people that are really suffering. This may provide an alternative to, helping assist their body to heal itself.
Amazing. Well, John, we look forward to welcoming you into our community later on this month. For those of you that may be watching this, if you'd like to book an appointment with John, you can call the Institute directly at 561-766-2645, and I will help you get set up with an appointment. Thanks so much, John. Look forward to
Thank you
seeing
so much. Looking forward to seeing Florida again.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.